Hey guys, how you doing? This is Ebendon, and I'm going to start part 3 of this little run through Cultist Simulator. Should probably put my headphones on, huh? Make this a little easier. Okay, so, where were we? Trying not to die from existential dread. Going to work. That's about it. Okay, so, let's see here. What do we got going on here? We got a dude we can make into the cultist. We've got a lot of dread. Am I getting more contentment here? No, I'm healing. So I'm going to need to get more contentment, clearly. Oh, I got more restlessness on the way, too. That's unfortunate. Yay, another pawn. I'm also trying to get some people that can deal with the monks, so some edge or some moth aspected people. So we'll go ahead and continue to try to get that. Going to work. Okay. Yep. Sometimes the dread train just gets a little out of hand. Like it could take forever to get rid of this bleak thoughts thing. But the thing is, you don't really need to get rid of it necessarily. You really just need to keep it under control. So. Because, like, having bleak thoughts around isn't a problem unless you have three dread in there, right? So sometimes it's not a terrible thing to have. All right, so the Viennese Conundrum. This is actually a extraordinarily good book in this game, and I'll show you why. Because it doesn't require you to translate it, but we'll read it. Violet. She's a winter person, as I will show you here shortly. She's a creepy old lady that loves death. Let's get some more contentment. So you see why having a good job is really useful, because sometimes you just have to burn through money, buying opium up. Violet is winter. Okay. Working for the man. This dude's looking at my mystique. But yeah, so that book I read, the Viennese Conundrum, right? It gives you an Ecdesias Parable, which is a level 6 moth lore. Level 6 is quite high for this early in the game. So, that's nice to have. There's not a lot I can do with it right now. Alright, so things that I haven't gone over yet for the early game is, the main thing is the Mansus. We haven't talked about the Mansus at all yet, so we'll do that here shortly as I get some more books. Now the Mansus is like the alternate world in which the entities described in Cultist Simulator exist. So it's like there's the real world, and then the Mansus is like another layer of that world. And you can only get to the Mansus by dreaming. And the way you initially get into the Mansus is you dream with your passion. Okay? And when you dream with your passion, you'll see you get this burn. That means that you're doing something important, right? And it says you can slot in lore. Now, you can try to slot in any lore here, right? And it's not necessarily going to do anything. But this one would, and this one would. Okay, so there are different ways to advance through different levels of the Mansus. But the ones that always work are Lantern and Knock. Knock is the aspect of bypassing doors and breaking into stuff. So Knock always gets you in. And Lantern is seeking knowledge. So that will always also get you higher in the Mansus, if you have enough aspect of it. So you'll see that I could take the bleached way, sleep in a room without colors, bleach the sheets, whitewash the walls, dye my hair, and paint my skin. Or I could take the Thursteen way. Could cut a lock of hair before I sleep to honor a power of the wind. We'll just go ahead and take the moth one, just because it's not the one you normally take. They lead to the same place. You always go from one step to the next, but it's kind of interesting that there's different ways to get through there. Huh, so I've got a bunch of free glimmerings here. Ooh, and a book on how to read Sanskrit. So you know what I might do? I might just, let's just upgrade my passion a bit while I have a good opportunity to do so. So we might just lose our job, and just paint a bit. To try to get some more glimmerings real quick. Because why not? Also, we want to, let's get some more stuff going here. So, Thirsting Way. A road ducks into the trees. Pale wings move deep in the wood. I am stumbling over roots. Yeah, basically, I have found a place in the Mansus. I found a way the wood. Now, I can enter the wood by dreaming on it. So, dreaming is your way into the Mansus. You also notice that there's this buzzing in a brain. This is a influence, a moth influence. You don't get these ones very often. Moth is like lunacy, essentially. So, moth is kind of insanity. So, the moth descriptions are always a little weird. I like to say snip, snip, snip. But let's go ahead and dream on the way of the wood. And now if you look here, it says path. I can employ passion to enter the wood, or with the right lore, find a way to the white door. Right? So, since we haven't gone into the Mansus at all, let's go ahead and employ passion if we can. Actually, we might not be able to right now because we've been... we used all of our passion for glimmering, so we're going to have to wait till this passion gets unexhausted. So I've got this lesson learnt. Now, here's an interesting thing, right? Glimmerings are moth aspect. Right? Buzzing in a brain is moth aspect. So, you can actually... This is something you will almost never do, but it's just one of those little subtleties about the game that I love. You can actually combine a glimmering with a buzzing in the brain to create a lesson learnt. Now, you almost never do this because these buzzing in the brains are really rare. But it's a thing you could do because they're both moth influence. I think it's really cool that you could do that. It's just a weird little, bonus thing. Like, it's one of those, are you paying attention to all the little details in the game? Because if you are, there's cheats and little shortcuts that you can do to get around problems. Oh man, I wanted to use that. Crap. Oh well. It's not a big deal. We're not going to make it into the wood, so because we don't have any passion right now. Because we used all of our passion to get more glimmerings because we wanted to upgrade our passion. It's not a big deal. We just got some restlessness out of it, which is unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. Let's go ahead and get our job back. We're going to have to use one of these passions to do that. And we can use... Get some more glimmerings going here. And then we can go back to the wood again. We have passion this time, so... Not a huge deal. I'm going to put this over here for now. Once I have a bunch of lore and stuff, I will start paying more attention to organizing it all. Because it will get very disorganized. Try to get my job back to the higher level that it was before. This guy's about to give me some more restlessness, so that's unfortunate. Alright, so now I have 3 lessons learnt here. Let's go ahead and upgrade our passion to the next level. Okay, so if you've never been in here before, that was probably a bit startling, and I apologize. This is the Mansus. Okay, so the Mansus, like I said, it's kind of the occult otherworld. And the way the Mansus works is you can go to the wood, the white door, the stag door, the spider door, the peacock door. And you can also ascend, which is to get through the tricuspid gate and get to the glory. Well, that's one of the ways to ascend. But you can either take the card that is here, in this case it's a peculiar rumor, or you can pick one of the hidden cards. Now the hidden cards are usually, they have a chance of being a little better or just kind of being crap. The peculiar rumor is a way to get it's like a guaranteed way to get a follower quickly, but it also generates notoriety, so I don't normally like to use them. So I'm probably just going to flip one of these guys. And you notice that when you flip them, the other ones die, and then This is a level 4 secret history, so that's actually pretty good. So you drag it back to the wood, and then you wake back up. You get a little descriptor here. And then collect it. So now I have another one of these furtive truths, right? I got my promotion. Okay. So yeah. We also want to get some more books. Always need more books. We also want to get more followers. I don't like using the lantern one to get followers because the lantern's useful for recruiting people. It's useful for other things, so. Alright. Now I have a fevered imagination. And I have 4 passion. So huzzah. Alright, so now I have 2 books for languages. I have a book on Sanskrit and a book on Greek. Right? So I can learn those languages. There's other ways to learn languages too. For example, Sulchana, if you look right, she is a Sanskrit scholar. So you can actually learn Sanskrit from her, but you need Spinatra. Spintray? I don't know how you pronounce it. It's a special currency you get in the game. Specifically through mentors. Or you could just get the books. So there's actually 8 different languages you can learn in this game. There's like 4 low-level languages and 4 higher-level languages. So the ones that you get the books just from going to Moreland Shop and stuff, those are the low-level languages. They're pretty easy to get a hold of. So for instance, we're going to go ahead and read this book on Greek. And I'm also going to go back to Moreland Shop and get some more of that done. And we'll go ahead and go back to the Mansus too. And try to get some more stuff out of there. Burning of the Unburnt God. Okay, so another book. All right. If you have a lot of money, it's a good idea to just go through Moreland's in the auction house and just get as many books as you can. Get all the lore that you can get. It's never bad to have extra lore. I'm going to go ahead and just take this occult scrap because these are useful. Okay, so collection of poetry. So these ones are actually kind of interesting. This will give you a glimmering a lesson learned if you read it. So if you plan ahead, you can make getting your upgrades a lot easier. This one will give you passion, right? Glimmerings. There's also one there's essays that will give you a reason, which are a lot more useful. The passion or the glimmering ones are a lot easier to get. So here, it looks like I have an affliction. I should probably take care of that. Let's see here. We've got. So now I know Greek, right? So if I get a book that's written in Greek, I can translate it. This book is not written in any other language, so I can go ahead and read that. I'm gonna get my occult scrap. I'm going to go ahead and explore this occult scrap. So the occult scrap is a level 2 secret histories, right? So that's the lowest level of vaults that you can find. And we're also going to try to get some more people. So you notice I've got a lot of things going on now, and a lot of it's just kind of repetitive. It's like, okay, keep working my job, right? Make sure I'm not dying to dread or something crazy going on over there, and then slowly make progress on everything else, right? So I've read this Burning of the Unburnt God. I got my first right in here, and I also got an Ardent Orson, which is level 4 Forge lore, right? So I have my Forge line here, so I'll go ahead and put it over here. Oh, shit, sorry. And I found another vault. So I'm gonna start trying to kind of organize a little bit because things are gonna get a bit much quickly. So I'm gonna put locations up here, like recurring locations. These are gonna be vaults down here. This is kind of the way I normally set things up. I usually keep rights down here too. Now the thing with rights is that there are some rights that are clearly way better than others. The right of the Crucible Soul is kind of crap, to be honest. So the best right in the game is Sunset Right, and it's actually pretty easy to get to, which is nice. Nebashette, She's a another patron, and she's probably the first. She's like the first completely normal patron. So we will use her to demonstrate how patrons work. There's like 3 normal patrons, 1 kind of weird patron, 1 really weird patron. This is the kind of weird patron, Poppy, and Sulchana is the really weird patron. So, like where she's completely different than the other ones. So, all right, let's see here. So we need to explore things. What do I want to explore? Let's go ahead and go to the auction house. So I'll show you the auction house works, right? So the way the auction house works is you could put something in here if you wanted to sell it, or if you don't put anything in there at all, you can bid on items, right? So for instance, if you look here, Skeleton Songs is a book that's being sold. So I can put in funds and I can bid. Now you might win on the first bid. You might have to put in several bids. There's nothing that's really not worth getting in the auction house. The only things I would pass on are if you get a book to learn a language you already know. That's kind of pointless. And if you get... Oh, hang on. I'm being called by my father. I'll have to pause. Alright, I'm back. Sorry. My father called. So I'm trying to pause the recording best I can, but I'm pretty new at all this YouTube and recording crap, so I'm not very professional at it yet. Alright, so let's see here. What have we got going on? Another bidder. So I have to put in more money if I want to get this. I'm making a mountain of money right now, so I'm not too concerned about burning money. This isn't a great book. I think it's like low-level Grail lore, if I remember right. We'll find out right now. But, you know, it's lore, and I need all the lore I can get. So having more lore is never bad. There's no downside to knowing more in this game. It's all good. So let's see here. I need to get some contentment going here. Man, these books are expensive. All right, so I finished reading Skeleton Songs. That gave me a red secret, which is level 2 Grail lore. Okay, so I have this guy as Grail, right? So I kind of arrange my things. I try to keep them all together, right? Let's go ahead and recruit Laidlaw. I believe, if I remember right, he's Forge, as I recall. He is a Forge aspected person. Humors of a Gentleman. Okay, so now this is I think this will give me another level 2 Lantern lore. Which, yeah, this guy's Forge. Okay, so put this up here. Which might allow me to show you another thing you can do in this game. So we'll go ahead and go to the Mansus as well while we're waiting. Like I said, it's not a big deal if you're not doing everything 100% efficient all the time in this game. So, yeah, so Watchman's Secret. So now you'll notice I have 2 Watchman's Secrets, right? There's not much point to having more than one of lore, but one of the traits of these lores is, if you'll notice, it says aspect requires knowledge. This is a puzzle with missing pieces. I might find those pieces in odd corners of scholarship. To upgrade or subvert this fragment, you need an erudition or an HQ with a library. Well, we know how to get erudition, right? You just study your reason, and that gives you erudition. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Let's get some more followers while we're waiting. Back to the Mansus. A buzzing in the brain. Not particularly useful. Vitality. Also not particularly useful. Right? Oh, actually, no, it is, because I have an affliction. So let's use that. So sometimes you just get things that kind of pop up as an opportunity, and you can take advantage of it. Nothing wrong with that. Like, not things that you want to rely on in the game to fix your problems, but, you know, if they pop up, then might as well use it, right? If you can. Okay, so this is a light in the skull. This is sometimes when you study, you get an additional erudition, just for funsies. So here, I need 3 reason to upgrade again, right? So This is that thing where I talk about opportunities, right? Like sometimes you just get an opportunity pops up for something, and you're like, you know what? I should take advantage of that. Because I'm getting a free erudition here, I'm going to go ahead and just keep studying my reason, and I'm going to try to upgrade my scholarship a little more. Especially with erudition, or with reason, you want to do this because it is the hardest one to upgrade. So, erudition is the hardest one of these to come by on a regular basis. So, you want to take advantage of it whenever you can. If you get free erudition, then you should try to take advantage of it, if possible. And you don't want to use these special books until you're trying to get that final upgrade, because you can make it to all the other upgrades without those books quite easily if you were just plan a little bit. But if you don't plan, but if you just waste those books, it makes your life a lot harder when you're trying to get that final upgrade. Where is my Watchman secrets? All right. So, man, I'm getting a lot of sickness, aren't I? All right, let's get another vault location. Very low level vault. Let's see here. Erudition. I've got an illness coming up, so I'm going to go ahead and need to fix that here in a second. So now I've got all these eruditions, right? Which are good. These are going to expire, or this one's going to expire before I can get any more. So we'll go ahead and do that. Get those rolling immediately. And I'll show you the power of Solachana here in a minute, too. Remember earlier in the series I said Solachana was really, really handy in spite of being very, very strange to use. And I'll explain why here in a minute. Why she's fantastic. Alright, I got another vault. Forgot Mithraeum. So, erudition, a lesson learned, right? Now, when I study these two together, right, that's going to take 60 seconds. So that means that'll be down to 240. And then I have to study reason twice again. So that's another 120 seconds, right? So that puts me down to 120. And then I have to combine those reasons into another erudition lesson learned. That puts us down to 60. So unless I do everything absolutely perfectly, this is going to decay away before I can actually use it. So what you can do is, I told you Solachana can talk about anything. So you talk to her about that erudition lesson learned. And what will happen is it won't decay. So while you're having a conversation about it, it will not, its timer won't go down. So this is very handy. It's not just Solachana can do it, but she's the only permanent person you have that can do it. You can also do it with certain summons. Like King Crucible and a couple other things. So Solachana is mostly useful for just keeping crap around. That's her primary purpose in life, right? So now we're gonna kind of alternate between these two eruditions so that we can keep them around as long as possible while we get our reason up another level. And you can see why what I meant by the reason is the most annoying one to keep up, because you can only really get it through study. I mean, there's ways to get it in the Mansus and a few other things, but study is the only consistent way to get it. So, yeah. Alright, so what all's going on? This guy hasn't found anything. We'll go ahead and grab another book while I'm doing all this other stuff. Okay, so now these eruditions have plenty of time, right? Plenty of time. So I don't have to worry too much about losing them now. Ooh, Paula and Marcius. Get more books. Go to work. Now I have another crappy disciple. Let's see here. I have vitality is dying. Is there anything I can do with that? Not really. So now I have my 3 lessons learned. Use my scholarship skill. Oops. Get the skill up to level 3, so I have 4 reason. Okay, let's see here. Let's go to the auction house. There's a few things you can only get in the auction house. A lot of what's in the auction house and what's in the bookstore overlap, but there's a few things you can only get in the auction house. And specifically, there's a film reel of nitrite film called Stoom that you can only get in the auction house. And it's incredibly useful because it gives you the sunset rate, which is the best rate in the game, in my opinion. So, and you get it pretty early in the game. So, we are all about the sunset rate here. Okay, so now I have Profound Scholarship, right? Level 3 Scholarship. And we're not going to go to level 4 for quite some time. So, now you notice I use different lores all the time to talk about. You only have to talk about lore in general. You don't have to talk about any specific lore to recruit people into your cult. You just have to talk about lore. Okay, so I got some level 2 heart lore. So that's nice. Go and read this Introduction to Histories. It's a pink book, so it's going to give me some more secret histories, which is nice. We'll also get some more vaults uncovered. Notice how much money I have now. I'm just rolling in it. So. Let's see. Let's get some contentment. I want to get rid of this thing before this restlessness changes to dread, if I can. Wherein? Okay, so you notice that this is a vault, right? This thing means vault, but there's it's a different color, right? And if you read these little aspects, this one says in the Shires, right? Whereas these ones say in the city or in the capital. Okay, so there's. If it's a level 2 lore, it's going to be in the capital. If it's level 4, it's going to be in the Shires. And there's 7 different levels of vaults, and they kind of vary in their difficulty, essentially. So the higher you go, the more difficult they are. There's also the Hebe Stanton, which is a special one. Whenever you explore a vault, there's a chance that you're going to get the Hebe Stanton. The higher the level of the lore you use, the more chance you get it. That one's kind of a weird one where it gives you a bunch of Sanskrit. I think it's level 6 lores. It's kind of odd. I'm not sure why it's there, but just kind of an odd one. Alright. Porter, an acquaintance. Okay. Ooh, I think Porter is Moth, if I remember right. Moth would be useful right now, because we're trying to get to we're trying to get through this initial vaults, right? We haven't gotten through any vaults. Our attempts failed initially, and we know that we need Moth or Edge. So, pretty sure this guy's a Moth aspect dude. Ceremony. So let's get him in the cult. And we also are going to get an erudition, because remember before I upgraded the reason, the whole point of us combining those things was we were going to do something with these Watchman's secrets that I didn't really specify. Strathcoins is a great vault, a great early game vault. You get all kinds of super useful stuff in there. Lots of great books. So Porter, yes, Porter is Moth, so we'll put him down here. Now I'm going to try to, there's actually an order to these lores. I'm going to try to see if I can remember the order of things. Usually I start with Lantern at the top. So Lantern lore, and then there's Forge lore, and then I think Forge goes into Heart and then Grail. I don't remember that well how these all work. Oh well, I'll deal with it when I have more stuff. I know I keep saying that, but there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff in this game. Believe you me. Yeah, well, we want moth, so moth is down here. Okay, so and to get ourselves an erudition. Now, if you have two of the same lore, you can study them together to create the next level up. If you solve the puzzles, right? So this one says it requires erudition, right? Which is why we got that. Advanced strategies in this game. You can also subvert lore. So remember, I was just telling you that there's an order to the lores. So it's kind of like, you know how like when you play RPGs and it's usually like, you know, fire will beat earth, and then earth will beat wind, and then wind will beat water, but water will beat fire. You know, it's like a cycle. It's kind of the same way in this game. So Lantern will subvert lore. Or, sorry, Lantern will subvert Forge. So if you try to combine Lantern and Forge lore, you'll get the next level of Lantern lore. Okay? And this is actually a good way to figure out what the order of things are. So, for instance, if I try to combine Forge with Edge, right? Edge would be the next one on the list. So I'm actually going to take a minute to arrange things so they make sense, right? So Lantern, I'm going to put at the top because that's what I am, right? So the Lantern is followed by Forge. The next one would be Edge. This guy will be an Edge disciple, so we'll do that. I don't have any Edge lore to put in here. But Grail subverts Heart. Right? So. And Moth subverts Grail. Okay, so we'll try to figure out the order of these things. This is Nock. These guys are Nock. This is Winter. I wish I had more stuff. Yeah, Lantern or Moth subverts Lantern, as I recall. So usually I put Moth at the bottom if I'm going to have Lantern at the top. So, study with a Grail fragment of the same level to upgrade an animal. Study with a Moth lore to subvert it and get Moth instead. So, is it, Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I said it wrong earlier. So, Forge will subvert Lantern. So, if you combine Lantern and Forge, you'll get level 4 Forge lore. Right. So, I kind of try to put it as the one that would take over is the next one down the list, right? So Moth will go back up to Lantern, and then Lantern will go to Forge. Forge will go to Edge. I believe Edge is subverted by Winter, as I recall. And then Winter is subverted by Heart. Heart is subverted by Grail. Right? And Grail is subverted by Moth. Yeah. So this is the order that we'll put them in. Okay. This guy's Forge. And then Nock is special. So Nock lore will subvert anything to Nock. So no matter what you combine with Nock lore, it will always make more Nock lore. And then Secret Histories is also special. It also has no followers. There's no Secret Histories followers. So we'll put Moth down here. And then I'll put Nock. I usually kind of put a gap because Nock's kind of its own special thing. And then I'll put Secret Histories down here. Okay, and then we'll bring all of our vaults down here because we don't really need to interact with these until we need to. All right, and now we have some semblance of order going on here. Order is good. Actually, I might put let's put the Nock people at the top. So, boop. Okay. Sorry about that. Organization is kind of important in this game, though. So we'll go back to what we were trying to do here. So I could create level 4 Forge lore if I combine this with the Smith's Secret, but I don't want that. I want level 4 Lantern lore. So we're going to go ahead and combine these, right? And you can always try to do this, even if you don't meet the challenges. If you just don't know what the challenges are, you don't understand, you can try to combine two of the same and then kind of see what it requires of you, right? So it'll tell you. It takes a little while to get to the part where you actually need to add tasks. So now, challenge, knowledge, right? Provide erudition or use a library. Well, we don't have a library, so... So you put in a knowledge, and that's going to solve the challenge. And low-level challenges, like if you're combining level 2 or level 4 lore together, they only take one challenge. So they're really easy. Let's see, we got a dread. Let's get some contentment to counteract that nonsense. And now, you see I have a Mansus glimpse. Now, a Mansus glimpse is level 4 lantern lore, right? And here's the thing. We talked earlier about trying to upgrade my followers and things like that. Well, now that I have level 4 lantern lore, I can actually do that when I get anything that has like 2 lantern aspect. So one thing that has lantern aspect is actually, believe it or not, contentment has 2 lantern aspect. So I could just get some opium and I could use that, or I could just wait till I get some restlessness. Either way works, right? We'll take the impatient route just for demonstration purposes. Ooh, this will give me some knock lore. So now I have some contentment, right? I want to, so remember I said before that we needed 8 lantern lore to upgrade somebody to the next level. He's got 2 lantern aspect. So we're going to go to the Mirror of Glory, talk to him, because he's already got 2 lantern just for being him. This gives us 6, right? And then if I add that contentment, that brings it to 8. And now I can promote him, right? So that takes 60 seconds to promote a believer. Get some more books while I'm waiting. Okay, and now I have a disciple, right? So now he's the 2nd level of follower, which means he has 5 aspect. He has 5 lantern, right? Now I can only do that so early because he has the aspect that we use to improve ourselves, right? So because he comes with lantern aspect, it's easy to get him to 8 lantern aspect. If I want to upgrade, say, Porter, which I do want, right? I need to get a total of 8 lantern aspect aside from him because he has moth aspect. So it's a little bit more difficult. Notice that book also gave me level 2 knock lore. So knock lore is nice. And I'll show you what I was talking about as far as subversion, right? You notice that this one says right here, study any lore fragment at the same level to upgrade to a higher level knock lore. And there's a reason for that. Knock lore is really useful for summoning. So there's a reason they make it easier to get knock lore than anything else. So, all right. Sure. Let's go ahead and get some more books. And let's get some more people. So I'm starting to get a pretty decent roster of people right now, right? To be safe going through the vaults, I usually like to have at least 5. 5 aspect. Of one of everything, right? Once I have one of everything, at least 5, it's safer to start going through there. I mean, you can do it faster if you're impatient, right? If you just really want to get rolling with the game. But I think this game, more than most other games I've played, this game rewards patience very, very highly, right? The longer and slower you can just build up your cult, keep your head down, don't make a lot of waves with the hunters. Just mind your P's and Q's. The easier this game will be. And you know, the first couple of playthroughs, easy is very good. Okay, I got another patron. Nice. Okay, so now I've learned Latin. Now, you remember I have this book that was written in Latin, right? So the way that you do this is you use your Latin scholarship and then the book, and then you translate it. You still have to read it after you translate it. All right, so we haven't talked about these patrons over here yet, but we can do that now. So patrons are special people. They're not followers. They're basically people who are already in the know. They kind of have their own cults, essentially. They're like other people in the occult world that are willing to help you in exchange for your help. So these guys will ask for commissions, essentially, right? So she's asking me for a forge commission, which is very substantial, which means I need level 6 or higher forge lore to complete it, which I don't have. I have level 4, but not 6. So we're going to just put that off to the side for now. This dude, also, I can get a commission from. And he wants very substantial lantern lore. So unfortunately, I can't complete either of those, which is really a bummer because I would like to talk to him because he could teach you Aramaic, which is the other base language I don't know. Of all the base languages in the game, there is Greek, Sanskrit, Latin, and Aramaic. Aramaic's the most annoying of the early ones to learn. So if you can just learn it from him, it's kind of nice. Otherwise, you have to find a book to learn it in a vault, which can be a little annoying. So, all right, let's see here. So now that I've translated it, right, that little Latin button or little Latin box is gone now, so I can just read it. Back to work. Some restlessness. Let's see. Let's get some more books. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this newest dread, just with this contentment I got. Poetry. God, I got a lot of poetry. Don't I? Okay, so because I have so much poetry, I'm actually going to go ahead and get the highest level of passion. And I don't want these videos to go super long, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll stop this video right here, and then we'll go into the next one. On the next one, I'll get level 5 passion and explain how that works. And yeah, thanks.